sick of this shit.
We're recording, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
I'm sick of your shit, Disney, Nickelodeon, Lionsgate. All I wanted was fucking Power Rangers. What do I get? A bunch of fucking cringy teenagers. Sick of all this shit.
Hold up. Let me just... Because I forgot to... motherfucker. Okay. Alright. Here we go. Part 2. Power and Samurai. First one was...
Interesting.
An eye-opener. Second one, it's gonna get worse.
More like a sphincter closer. That was the dumbest thing I ever said.
It really was.
We follow Antonio's arrival up in the next episode, Room for One More. And hoo boy, am I happy we're finally here. See, the advantage of Power Rangers being back on the air when I started doing the series meant that I could watch Samurai as it was happening. And I have been saving up a rant for 4 years thanks to this episode. Jaden vouches for Antonio and gives us more terrible flashbacks and really awkward smiles at the camera. Kevin is pissy about Antonio.
He's definitely got some skills, but he's not a true samurai.
Asshole,
It doesn't run in his family, and he hasn't any formal training.
Family? Hey, Kevin, none of you people are Japanese! Oh, but that's not my rant for that little bit of elitism. That's snobby of him, but it fits with Kevin's character. No. The problem occurs when Antonio goes to the command house and meets with Mentor G again. Antonio explains how, by studying the Octazord, he was actually able to craft a morpher for himself, particularly by communicating with it digitally. He's wanted his whole life to be a samurai.
Antonio, it's just too dangerous to put you out there without the necessary formal training. If you don't have the training...
But I do! Look, sure I did it by myself, but I can hold my own out there, and you saw it!
Antonio, I'll hold on to this.
Who the hell are you?
What?
No, seriously, who the hell are you? You don't even have a first goddamn name, Mentor, and yet you get to dictate who is and isn't qualified to be a ranger? That's his morpher, asshole! He's the only member of this team who actually chose, of his own free will, to do this crap! Yeah, that's something that's been bothering me about this team. This obligation put on the Rangers that's never really addressed. Sure, the Rangers express regret occasionally about wanting a normal life away from all this, but they treat the whole thing like it's a foregone conclusion. They have no choice but to do this. Their families place a massive responsibility on these children, and I do mean children. We see flashbacks to a lot of them as little kids, and this job being thrust upon them. Every previous Ranger team was given a choice. Sure, some were in training longer than others before they became Rangers, but even they clearly chose the path they were on. Yeah. This is all familial responsibilities that have been shoved onto them before they even knew how to spell. And before you say, well, Jaden gave them a choice in the first episode, it's been hammered into them all their lives that they have to drop everything for this. It is both their destiny and their responsibility to do this, and to do otherwise would be a betrayal of that destiny and the expectations placed on them. One of the themes of that Power/Ranger short film, apparently, was about child soldiers. I call it horse crap for every season except this one. These characters clearly have a lot of issues as a result of this, constantly overworking and berating themselves as a result of this responsibility. They're doing a hell of a lot better than many would, but it still was absolutely wrong. And then Mentor G comes along and gets to decide Antonio is not worthy because his daddy ran a fish market instead of handing him a sword and telling him to fight demons? Even Jaden admitted the time he spent with Antonio was the only time he ever felt like a normal kid, G. You denied him that chance! At least in SPD, when Doggy Kruger denied Ranger status at times, he had good reasons to worry about their development, or concern about the future with the Dino Thunder Rangers. You're some asshole in a robe who's a glorified butler for the team, since I sure as hell don't see you out on the battlefield. Actually, I take that back. Even Spencer from Overdrive, an actual butler, was out on the field more than you! Up yours, you self-righteous, sanctimonious sack of grum! And yet Jaden backs up this crap. But of course, by the middle of the episode, every other ranger is telling Jaden, screw you, it's his planet too, and he knows the risks, so let him fight, and nobody tells off G like they should. All he does is apologize for acting rashly in regards to him.
It's not like when it was just us.
Yes, but that's what being a leader is all about. It's not all on you. They have chosen their path. You did not choose it for them.
No they didn't. They did not choose this path. We saw that they didn't. We saw Kevin have to abandon his Olympic aspirations and be pressured by his father into doing the samurai stuff, to the point where the dude obsesses over his training to the exclusion of all other activity. Emily's sister, who was supposed to do this, got ill, and all she said was, wow, sucks that you have to do this now, sis. Admittedly, we know very little about Mike and Mia's upbringing in this regard, but I get the distinct impression that since Mia had a van with the team symbol on it, that she probably had a bit of pressure put on her, too. I joked about him being bad at his job, but it really goes to show how much better a mentor friggin' Zordon was when he offered the Rangers the chance to leave and lead their own lives on multiple occasions.
Although becoming a Power Ranger sometimes means you must make sacrifices, it was never my intention to deprive any of you a life experience such as this.
But whatever, once he's actually...
And he constantly said that over and over and over again. Zordon was always that person that was looking out for the Rangers.
For the Rangers.
He was always looking out for them. Because he knew what he was asking of them.
Because he's been through it.
Because he went through it himself. So he knows the danger. And he didn't deprive them of their lives at all. This right here is just saying, for one, that's his damn morpher.
It's his own morpher that he made.
He made the morpher. He wanted to do this.
He made it. He trained his life since he was a kid. Because he made a promise with his friends.
It's like, who are you to say that you haven't had the proper... Oh, so because you didn't see him train, that gives him a reason not to be... Bullshit!
Well...
Bullshit!
I do believe in some cases, now not to play to his, arrogance, but to play devil's advocate for a second. I do believe in some cases there were some samurai families that were strict on stuff like that, and that's why some samurai and some ninja traditions were passed down in families, and that's why the secrets and all that were so kept tight for years.
And you know what the funny part is about all that? There are some samurai families that own fishing.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. There now, not even the Fisher thing. There were some samurai that were like,
no, you're not getting the point.
No,
he brought it up saying that since his father didn't give him a sword and to give him a fishing rod instead, right. Some families are samurais that actually literally were fishermen.
Right. That's what
they fished to survive.
What I'm saying is the ones that were so like uptight, like Mentor G, he was basically making child soldiers, and he's like, you're gonna continue this tradition, or just which is more or less like a very arrogant and samurai-ish thing.
But this is but think about it. This isn't just samurai we talking about. This is Power Rangers. We're talking about people past this team who have chosen to be Power Rangers even without training.
Yeah.
And since we want to make references to the OG team so bad, I think references to the OG team. The OG team didn't get any training at first.
No.
They could not fight. Granted, Jason and Trini knew karate. And Zach knew his own method of karate, which was hip hop aikido.
Yeah, hip hop aikido.
But that was it. They weren't prepared to fight like that.
They were prepared to fight, but they weren't prepared. It was more self-defense.
Yes, thank you. Like, it was more of like a self-defense thing. Yeah. They weren't trained to save the world. So who the hell are you to say that in order to be a Power Ranger or to put your life on line, you have to have a certain amount of training? That's not so.
Like they were breeding child soldiers.
Basically.
For their own benefit. Because, I mean, he said, yeah, I don't see you out there. Now, this might be a dumb stretch, but this could have been used. They could have made him the Brown Ranger at the end. Towards the end of the series. He could have been like, well, you know, I'll do it, or I'll help you, or I'll do my due diligence.
Yeah, that's another thing. If since he had all the training, why doesn't he become a ranger?
I'm too old.
Bullshit. Nigga, Doggy was like, what, 200 years old? Doggy's a fucking ranger. Shit, oh yeah, I'm too old. Goddamn, Tommy's he's still a ranger. He's like,
Tommy old as shit.
He's, like
he's still a Power
Ranger. Like, come on.
Accepted on the team, he utilizes his own method of operating, digital power symbols, to repair the Clawzord. I do rather like that idea. I mean, obviously these are magical beings, but they have just as much technology as magic, so utilizing a combination of these techniques should be done more often. Meanwhile, after Master Xandred kicked Decker's ass for getting in the way of one of his monsters, Dayu goes to him, offhandedly remarking that she wonders if Decker remembers her. Later, he reveals to her that he remembers nothing from his life before, only his need to duel. Perhaps if he had some other challenge.
There's a secret baby barracuda recipe I'm working on. Do you want to challenge your taste buds?
We get another hint of what went down in the episode Team Spirit, where a Nylok goes around stealing people's souls. Okay, they call it Spirit, but you get the idea. It takes Emily's and proclaims that the spirits it's taken will be digested within 24 hours and keep everyone in eternal slumber. And heads back to the Netherworld, where humans can't follow, and decides to sit there. It's a surprisingly level-headed plan from a villain. Decker appears to the Rangers and explains that there is a way for humans to enter into the Netherworld.
Simply trade your human existence to become a Nylok. Willingly give yourself over to them and pass through the gap.
Are you saying you made that choice?
I don't remember how it happened to me, but I'm living proof it can be done.
And the funny thing is, they seriously considered doing it. Much as this series has its problems, I will grant you that it had the balls to actually have these characters be willing to sacrifice their own humanity just to save the one they all care about. Of course, Antonio comes through with a way of dragging the Nylok back to their world without giving up their humanity, but if he hadn't come along, they would have done it. Oh, and on more standard Power Rangers fare, the Clawzord forms its own Megazord, with a spinny roulette wheel that changes its weapons.
Wheel of morality, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the lesson that we should learn.
In the engine gate, Master Xandred locks himself in his cabin and starts absorbing some new power or whatever. Yeah, nothing changes about him. Without his guidance, Mooger starts swarming into the human world, and it's a bit overwhelming for the Rangers. Realizing they need a new weapon, a mere one episode after the Clawzord got up and running, G shows them a scroll.
The black box? A magic talisman, created by the very first Red Ranger. It is said it can unite the symbol powers of all Rangers into one.
It's not certain if he meant the very first Red Power Ranger or the first Red Samurai Ranger, but given how this series seems to treat the legacy, I think we can assume the first Red Samurai Ranger. Given that it seems to be a generational thing, I suppose we can assume the reason the other previous Samurai teams never came to help out in a crisis is because the knowledge and training had to be passed down, and apparently a lot of the older Rangers died before they could, leaving it for other teachers to handle training the kids while not being able to morph themselves. Anyway, the black box was never finished, and the Rangers think Antonio might be able to complete it using his own unique skills. They arrive at the titular Tenjin Gate where the black box is stored, and after some banter, the elder in charge of the temple pulls Jaden aside.
You haven't told them your secret, have you?
They're my friends, Daisuke. I don't like lying to them, but...
Yeah, and the thing he's lying about doesn't necessitate his secrecy, but that's for later. What's more important is a legend they discover on a tapestry.
A young woman made a deal with the Nylok king to save the life of her beloved. But the king tricked her and turned them both into Nylok.
This seems important. Maybe Antonio and Decker can get to the bottom of this.
So, you've come to accept my challenge. Baby barracuda fish kebabs. They're muy fantastico.
I did say that.
Come on. Things don't go well. Long story short, the Rangers get their asses kicked, and Jaden is abducted by Decker, leading into Boxed In. Antonio gets to work in the black box, and Master Xandred dispatches Dayu to kill Decker since he keeps interfering with their plans to kill Jaden. Jaden, meanwhile, refuses to battle Decker since he doesn't want to fight for funsies, only to protect people. Eventually, Jaden asks another good question.
Why do you want to fight me? There are plenty of good warriors in the world.
Yes, but like me, you have a secret festering inside you. We're both warped. Twisted.
Again, the secret he's hiding is really not something awful. I don't know where this is coming from. Antonio comes and collects Jaden.
Hey, the nice creepy guy's letting us go, Jaden. Vámonos. See ya.
Ah yes, the ancient samurai technique of smoke bombs. Samurai and ninjas are the same thing, right? In the next episode of Broken Dreams, we finally get the proper explanation for Dayu and Decker. Dayu returns to the netherworld without even attacking Decker. Xandred is naturally pissed off.
Ever since I gave up my spirit to evil, I've experienced nothing but sorrow. Century after century of constant heartache. You ruined it! How could you do this to me? I knew you were evil, but this?
Oh, I knew you wanted to flood the earth with evil and kill and destroy, but breaking my guitar? You diseased maniac! She flees to Earth to try to get it repaired, but Xandred sends a monster to retrieve her. She and Mia are put into a dream state where Mia spots Dayu's dream of the past, her getting married to Decker as a human. The two exchange wedding gifts, her giving Uramatsu to him, and he giving a guitar to her. However, their honeymoon cabin is somehow set on fire. This is why you don't smoke in bed, kids. And Dayu manages to pull a wounded Decker from it.
Someone hear my call!
I can save him for a price.
Please!
Simply trade your humanity for an eternity in the netherworld.
Well, she's cute and stuff, but my soul?
Naturally, she accepts and he's saved, but as Faustian bargains go, naturally he reveals that he will be saved. He just will be saved as a cursed half-Nihilot with no memory of her, and she loses the ability to part her hair from her eyes.
Is it too late for you to return to your human form? You're so naive that you would seek to save me rather than destroy me? I don't need your pity.
The episode ends with Decker arriving in front of Jaden, saying the time has come for their ultimate duel. This leads us into the season finale, the ultimate duel. However, before the duel can begin, Moogers attack and interrupt, pissing Decker off something fierce. Antonio tells him Jaden's too exhausted to fight, and Decker gives him 24 hours to recover, but that this is going to happen, whatever they have to say about fighting for the sake of fighting.
Disappoint me, and I may not be able to hold my Nihilot side back much longer. I could possibly attack whoever is near.
You threaten random people? Then you're not half human.
Ooh, Decker's giving him the crazy eyes, too. I bet I can ruin this moment, though.
I don't know much about spaceships.
The other Rangers don't want Jaden to get involved, not only because of how powerful Decker is, but because if he dies, the sealing power goes with him. However, Jaden is adamant about going through with it. Decker and Dayu end up crossing paths in a forest, but Dayu can't bring herself to admit their backstory together, probably because of guilt over her own mistake that led to this whole situation. The next day, the Rangers have to deal with a Nihilok attack while Jaden proceeds to the duel, handing over his discs to Kevin so they can still form the Megazord without him. And then they fight.
I'm having more fun watching this than the actual show.
Say, what are the Rangers up to?
You guys go ahead. I'm too weak.
Huh. Riveting. And the fight?
Thank you. It might be fight.
But yeah, the fight finally ends with a great maneuver by Jaden that leaves Uramatsu sliced in half.
Well fought, Red Ranger. You have honored me and freed me from my torment. Thank you.
Victory achieved. End of season 1. Kind of a lackluster finale, but makes sense when you consider it's not supposed to be the finale. I've heard it rumored that Nickelodeon has this policy in place where a season has to be around 20 episodes long for them to show it, meaning that the season is split into half between Samurai and Super Samurai. And this supposed finale is just another result of slashing the 40 episodes of the season in half. Anyway, Kevin leads the team in Jaden's absence, and then there's this little wrap-up.
Kevin, thank you for leading the team when I couldn't.
It was an honor, but it's not my job.
There could only be one Red Ranger.
Yeah,
About that.
About that.
What? Why, hello there!
Okay. Alright. Well, that wasn't too long.
That was.
Alright. Well, that was fine. That was fine.
Better than
Part 1.
homoerogenous stuff. Besides that, yeah, I would agree. But that duel was the most interesting part of this whole.
That was the most interesting part. That was the one thing I liked. I just wanted to see that fight. Honestly, I was hoping that they didn't cut that out.
That whole duel. Just that one part of Samurai.
I was hoping that they didn't cut that out in like the American version, because that was like one of the best fights in that whole Sentai series. That was one of the best fights.
Weirdly enough, like I mentioned in the last one, that the what's his name again? The one with the sword, Yoramasa?
Yeah.
What's his name again?
Decker.
He literally reminds me of Disaster from Kamen Rider Saber. I don't know why.
Because it's kind of like the same costume.
And also,
it kind of looks like him.
I want to point out that this was before the actor had gotten in trouble and is now in prison because of what he did.
Yeah, he did attack someone with a sword, didn't he?
Yeah,
anyway.
what he did, but that's here or there. Let me know in the comments down below what y'all thought about this.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.
Yep.
Like,
comment, subscribe. Join the Sakurai clan today.
And if you don't join the clan, we're coming to get you and tickle you.
Be quiet, man.
Okay.
As such, this has been Master of Sakurai and the rest of the Rider Brothers, and we will see you guys next time.
Alright, peace.
Peace.